today?
Well, probably the biggest thing, obviously, is the intensity gets ramped up, and just want to make sure that, as we ramp this intensity up, that we are doing things the right way. We don't want to lose our focus and our intent in terms of developing, learning, and growing just because we got the pads on. We got to play within ourselves. A lot of good things on tape that we're looking forward to watching as a coaching staff.
I assume the line play is probably a lot of fun to watch with that. What did you kind of see out there today with some of those guys?
Well, it's one of those things where, understanding how to practice when you're just in helmet and shells as opposed to helmet and pads is a much different thing. And usually it favors the D-line when you don't have pads on. Now you got pads on, it kind of evens up, and you're trying to really see the offensive line with some of their movements and being able to get some push, stuff like that. Whereas with the defense, it's about watching those guys trying to make sure they're getting into their creases and holding their ground.
Hey, Ron, with James Smith-Williams not out there today, is that an injury or something else?
I'm sorry?
With James Smith-Williams not out there today, is that an injury or something else?
No, it's a hip, and we're just evaluating him.
And then how about John Bates? Stats on John Bates?
Oh, John Bates. John's working through his calf, and hopefully we'll have him back out soon.
Ron, there's been a lot of talk about Carson so far, but what have you seen from Taylor and Sam and the other quarterbacks?
Seeing growth. With Taylor, you see him. He's stronger this year. He's throwing a really good ball. He's getting even more and more comfortable in what we're doing. With Sam, it's just a matter of learning. Again, as he goes through it, understanding our scheme, our progressions in terms of the routes that are being run, and how to get to from one receiver to the other, stuff like that. So you're seeing growth from both these young guys.
On the defensive side, Montez Sweat's been as loud as anyone here at camp. Do you think he's coming with a different energy this year compared to the last 3 years?
Well, I just think he's comfortable in what we're doing. And with that comes confidence. So, again, I think he's in a good place and very happy with the work we're getting from Montez.
We're here. It's interesting sort of watching the back of the receiver room because a lot of those guys are also in the punt return mix. How do you kind of balance when you're watching them at receiver, whether it's Dax or Erickson, watching that and then noticing kind of what they do there? How do you kind of balance that as you're watching throughout camp?
Well, I think the biggest thing is you just separate that. You're looking for need on offense, but also in the back of your mind, you do know how important the punt catcher is. We feel good about both those guys, as we do a few other guys.
And you've talked about some of the younger back seven guys that you're trying to keep an eye on. Just for Percy Butler, what's been kind of standing out for him, and how about also a guy like Josh Drayden?
Well, we know with Percy, he's smart, very fast, very athletic. He's got a good sense about him. He understands the game. Josh is a very bright athlete. He's showing us some position flex, playing some nickel and corner for us.
Seems like you have a lot of guys vying for those last few spots. What have you seen out of guys like Jeremy Reeves and the rest of that group?
Well, the biggest thing you're looking for from Jeremy is just consistency, just being more consistent than he has his first couple of years. He's developing, he's growing. He's a guy that's getting opportunities. He's played every year that we've been here for us, and so we just want to continue to watch him and see if he's growing and developing. Those other young guys, again, same thing, just being consistent as football players. Percy's a good young player who's done some good things. Derek Forrest has done a nice job with his opportunities. It's a really good mix. It's a good young room of players.
And then with Jeremy, back in 2020, you made a big point about giving him a chance, how he had earned from the practice squad moving up. 2 years since, where do you think he's grown the most as a player?
I just think his overall knowledge and play of the game. A lot of times young guys come in and they're used to a specific scheme and the way you play it. With Jeremy, it's just a matter of learning and growing.
Not sure we've asked you about Jamin Davis yet in camp. How have you seen his progression, especially in a day like today with pads on?
Been very happy with it. You see a lot of good positive things from Jamin right now. He's much more comfortable in what we're doing and how we're doing it. He's picked up the way we do things in terms of reads and drops. Reading through his drops and understanding the concepts is really big, and he's done a nice job with that. So very pleased with that. As with Cole, Cole's done a nice job stepping into the Mike position from the start. Last year he was more of a Sam for us, a Will for us, and then when JB got injured, we moved him to Mike, and he really showed very well. Now's an opportunity to work on that skill set. He's done a very good job. When Mayo's gotten his opportunities, Dave's a big physical guy. Today was a good day for Dave. We did a lot of our big defensive stuff, and so he got an opportunity.
When you say Jamin looks more comfortable, is there something tangible you can point to? Is it just the way he's identifying what a run lane, how he's covering guys in the pass, or
that's basically it. I mean, you know, understanding the fits a lot better than he did last year, and again, as I said, understanding how to read the progressions of the route combinations in front of him.
Take 2 more.
Hey, Ron, sorry if you kind of answered this already, but with the Guardian caps on, first day of hitting sounded a lot different today.
Yep.
Were you pleased with kind of the pace and the enthusiasm at practice?
I thought the pace is what we're looking for. You know, the guys understand how we want to practice. You know, there's a feel that you have to have that what you're doing, you're helping your teammates get better, and what you're doing is hurting your teammates. So we got to be really smart about that and practice along that fine line. You know, you want to develop at the same time. You don't want to hurt anybody.
Last one.
No more? Oh, one more.
Ron, to kind of build off the full pads practice today, just what can you really take away from a full pads practice? How much can you take away from a full pads practice?
A lot more in terms of the realism of the game, because when you don't have pads on, the O-line tends to catch a little bit more because, you know, they can't deliver a blow because you don't want the big collision. So the D-line gets a little bit of an advantage. In this situation, because they're allowed to deliver the blow, you can see a little bit more as far as, you know, who's getting the better angle, who's winning with leverage, who's getting push. And so that's really helpful for us as far as we're concerned. It also, I think it helps the linebackers a little bit more because it cleans up things for them as far as their quick reaction. And for the runners, they get a better sense for where the creases are, and you get to watch the guy make a really good or true cut.
All right, thanks, Coach.
All right, cool. Thank you, guys. Over here.
Thanks for tuning in to the Command Report. Please like, share, subscribe, and turn on that notification bell to stay up to date with all the latest Washington Commanders news.